It is a challenge right now because it's the first time that there's a limit in sugar content. So we have to figure out a way to be in compliance and also offer items that the students are going to like.
Well, Arizona school lunches, they're changing. New state rules are going to remove certain artificial dyes and additives from school meals, while federal standards cut sugar and encourage more real, locally sourced foods. Last week, we showed you how students in Queen Creek are helping design their menu by taste testing new options. They got to ensure that they're meeting new standards, but also that the kids like it, so they're going to eat it, right? Some have questioned, though, why the change? Didn't cafeterias get a healthy makeover during the Obama administration? Our Noelani Graf joins us now in the studio breaking down the difference here. It does seem like we just went through this. It was controversial when it happened then.
Right. It was a signature issue at the time of the First Lady. So if you feel like it's deja vu, you're not wrong. Under the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, as well as former First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move initiative, reforms were made. The changes going into effect next school year, though, take it even further. So in the 2010s, kids could still have familiar foods, just healthier versions, more whole grains, fewer calories, less fat. So pizza, it stuck around. The crust just changed. There was also still chocolate milk. They knew that one well. They just had to lower the fat content. Now, though, the thinking is that some foods shouldn't be school food at all. Arizona's law bans foods containing 11 additives and synthetic dyes in school meals and vending machines. So that means brightly colored sports drinks, they're gone if they've been dyed. Neon colored candies, you're not going to see any of those at all. They're not just being reformulated, they disappear from campus. Also in the new federal rules, they cut ultra-processed foods entirely, also adding limits on sugar, which is a challenge at breakfast time. So yogurt might stick around, but they're going to have to make sure that it doesn't have a bunch of sugar. Same goes for any kind of pastries. It also encourages locally sourced foods. The big picture motivation, though, behind the changes a decade ago and today really are the same: getting students to create healthier habits that live beyond the school day.
It's important, and showing the students like the same thing, it should be at home where we make from scratch food and instead of like relying so much in processed items.
And really the plan to make these changes differ by district. Some are going with taste tests by their school board because they're the ones who are voting on the suppliers and the ingredients. You saw what just happened in Queen Creek, but at least now we can understand why it's happening. And Justin, that is your education impact.
That's really cool that they came up with a solution to this. I mean, you got to get the input from the kids, right? They're the ones eating it.
Exactly. And of course, their budget is really based on student participation, and it's going to take a budget to be able to make some of these changes and shop locally.
So this is kind of a new thing that we have with you going on here with our education impact. Tell us about like kind of the stories that you're going to be doing here, because the one that you looked at Queen Creek, that was a solution right there.
Exactly. So 12 News has done a great job with their education stories, education impact. Also, the investigative team has really, of course, been digging into ESAs. This specifically is an exciting new partnership, though, between 12 News and the Arizona Media Association, as well as other radio, newspaper, and television newsrooms across the state. I am actually part of a cohort of 16 journalists who are working together to spotlight not just the challenges in education, but as you mentioned, the creative solutions that teachers, students, businesses, community groups, individuals have all come up with to navigate and even solve those issues. We're talking about things like students fighting for mindfulness rooms on campus to address their mental health concerns. Teachers, we've seen so many fundraising on their own to get the latest innovations in their classrooms. Businesses creating programs for access. Schools turning to kids, as we saw, for input to implement those changes. So if you have an education solution that you know of happening in your community, your school, go ahead and send us your story ideas. We'll take a look at them. We have a dedicated email that you can use now too. Just email education@12news.com, Justin.
All right. Looking forward to seeing what folks have for you there too.
Yeah.
Some good